I'm gonna do this now. I'll find out if Honor 8 Pro can kill the flagship killer or not. OnePlus is selling like hotcakes, and the only competition that it seems to have right now in India is Honor 8 Pro. So, can this phone put an end to OnePlus's legacy? Let's find out. If you have seen my previous videos in which I reviewed Samsung Galaxy S7, you'll be familiar with the factors that I look at while reviewing phones. Make sure you see that video if you haven't already. Anyways, let's see what this 30,000 rupee smartphone puts on the table. Straight out of the box, let me say this. The phone feels premium. The feel definitely lives up to the price you paid, and the slim metal design looks elegant and feels the same. Given it has a 5.7-inch display, it pretty much fills up your hand. Huawei has tried to reduce the side bezel significantly, and they did a good job, but the phone is still big, so if you are among those who run away from big phones, I think you should look elsewhere. No luck here. All the praising doesn't mean the build is perfect, especially the power and volume buttons on this device. They rattle a bit, and they take away from the otherwise premium feel of the device. That's something minute and doesn't really fit for a con, but something I thought should be worth mentioning. If you are paying 30,000 for a device, these small details should definitely be looked after by the companies. The device does resemble iPhone somewhat with antenna lines and rounded corners. It's not a bad thing per se, the execution here is good, and the phone feels premium overall. There's no camera hump, and the front glass is curved at the edges, which adds to the overall aesthetics of the device. The device is slippery, so make sure you slap a skin or a case on top of it. The phone has LTPS panel compared to AMOLEDs in competition such as OnePlus, Samsung, and Motorola phones. Of course, AMOLED used in current generation devices are superior in terms of contrast ratio, black levels, outdoor visibility, color saturation, and whatnot. But don't overlook this display among the crowd of AMOLEDs. For a start, this display is very crisp, thanks to QHD resolution, and thanks to this resolution only, watching VR on this device is much better experience compared to Full HD displays. This was the first time I gave VR a shot, and I have to say the technology looks very promising. Although I just use VR to watch horror clips and scare my friends, but I can see next level interactive entertainment at our footsteps. The colors on this display are not that gaudy compared to AMOLEDs, but they definitely look pleasing to the eyes and can surely put a fight with other smartphones. You have the option to adjust color temperature to your liking here. The display complements the overall UI of this device. We have the option of using app drawer or avoiding it like iPhones and Mi phones. I do wish that swiping from top brought the notification panel, as the phone is quite big, but instead I land up on search page where I can search for anything on the phone and web. You can enable notification pull down in navigation bar through settings, and that's handy. Other cool features that this UI brings is all-in-one phone manager, which combines cleanup, data manager, block listing, virus scanning, app lock, and other features in one app. We also have app twin feature built in, so you can use two instances of some apps like Facebook, WhatsApp on a single device. The phone is running Android 7.0 Nougat with Emotion UI on top. During the review period, I got an 700 plus MB of update. The most noticeable change in the update included July security patch and a Jaunt VR app that provides online VR content for this device. This phone does have a powerful competition at its helm, including OnePlus 5 with Snapdragon 835. The phone has Huawei's homemade high silicon Kirin 960 processor along with Mali G71 MP8 GPU. Now, I know some of you might not have heard of high silicon processor in the world of Qualcomm's and MediaTek chipsets, but this processor is no slouch. Opening speed of normal apps is instantaneous and comparable to the likes of OnePlus 5. But OnePlus 5 defeats Honor in opening up games and other heavy apps. That can be due to the use of faster UFS internal storage on OnePlus compared to eMMC 5.1 used on Honor 8 Pro. Here's where things get interesting. I know some of you thought that Honor 8 Pro used UFS 2 storage, but it turned out that they used UFS only on some pre-production units of Honor 8 Pro, and most of the devices that consumers are getting is using eMMC 5.1 storage. I did check my device also, and the speeds confirmed my suspicion. If you don't know what eMMC and UFS is, just know that UFS is much newer and faster storage compared to eMMC. This was a very bad move by Huawei according to me. The device is not slow, not by any means, hell no. Kirin 960 is very powerful chipset, but it sure is not as fast as OnePlus 5, especially when looking at heavy application load times. Another issue that I noticed while reviewing this device is that it got hot quickly. 5 minutes of gameplay and it got little form. Sometimes casual YouTubing at 1080p and switching between apps got it wrong. Nothing uncomfortable, but definitely noticeable. Other than these niggles, the device performed nicely throughout the test period, and I never noticed any sluggishness. I only felt it while I was checking it out side by side with other competitions. If you are into benchmarks thingies, the phone does perform great here. Although I would advise you to never judge a phone based on its benchmark scores, they rarely depict the real usage scenario. I would give an 8.5 out of 10 to this device in terms of performance because it does perform quite nicely in real world usage, and I was not able to bog this phone down no matter what I did. The good overall performance did carry on to camera also. The phone is rocking a dual 12 megapixel f2.2 sensor where one is monochrome and the other is a color sensor. Huawei claims that they combine the details from both the images and produce an overall better image, and I have to agree, the image quality is great and surely among the best in its price bracket. The monochrome sensor allows more light intake as it lacks color filter, which is called as Bayes filter, that is present inside the color sensor. The images from both the sensors are then combined to produce a much better image that would not have been possible otherwise. Daylight shots on this device turns out to be great. They have good amount of detail, dynamic range is also good with appropriate saturation levels. At night, shots came out to be great, although they lose some quality as expected, but they are still better than most of the cameras, even above their price bracket. Night images seems to be processed quite nicely on this device. We have tons of mode on this device including Pro mode, Pro video mode. If you are into manual controls, then you won't be disappointed. We have other awesome modes like light painting, time lapse, slow-mo, and they yield great results. Front camera is an f2 8 megapixel camera and the results are average, but details can be improved along with dynamic range. We have the beauty mode provided if you are into those things. It does make you look smoother and wrinkle less. I'm just saying. And the screen acts as flash if you are taking selfie in low light. Video can be recorded up to 4K. Please note that the videos recorded in 4K on this phone are encoded using H.265 codec, and this format is not supported on some platforms like YouTube. But there's a plus to it also. The size of the 4K videos recorded using H.265 is much lower compared to normal 4K MPEG-4 videos. Hell, I recorded the same footage in 1080p 60 fps for same duration of the same subject, and the size turned out to be larger than 4K file. It's a shame that YouTube doesn't support H.265 right now, as the quality is great at such a lower file size. Let's hope that they update their platform pretty soon, as H.265 is there to exist. Talking about the quality of the videos, they are great here also. You won't get any stabilization in 4K videos, but you will get EIS in 1080p videos. Battery life on this device is great, although I did expect a longer screen on time from this device, having a 4000 mAh battery. I was getting around 5 hours of screen on time with 4G data always on and using Wi-Fi sometimes. It took the device around 1 hour 50 minutes or sometimes 2 hours to completely charge the device from 0 to 100. These figures are not that fast, but they are pretty fast considering this device has 4000 mAh battery. So can this device kill the flagship killer? Initially when I got the device I thought it might be an easy win for Honor 8 Pro. But there are some places where OnePlus 5 can defeat Honor 8 Pro. OnePlus definitely feels better built and much more comfortable in hand than Honor 8. With Honor in my hand, I was constantly in fear of dropping this device. Screen quality is top notch on both the devices. If you intend to use VR however, then Honor is definitely a better choice here. Performance is somewhat better on OnePlus, and Honor does get warm under heavy load, especially while using VR. The phone gets really hot. That said, Huawei is not exceptionally bad at anything, so it's very hard not to recommend this phone to you guys. Here's my final say though, without any bullshit. If you don't have a budget of above 30,000 rupees, then go with Honor 8 Pro without any worries. It won't disappoint, that's for sure. However, if you can stretch your budget to 33,000, then definitely go for OnePlus 564GB. But don't go big and get 128GB OnePlus, as it is not that good of a deal compared to Honor. So I hope that this video helped you somehow. If you were confused between OnePlus 5 and Honor 8 Pro, make sure you hit that like button if you liked it, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one.